In this podcast,
And I would do that every 11 o'clock.
just very, very hard-working people
That's slowly growing year after year.
that you are on your way to growth.
Every day I do something for my body.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my podcast. In this podcast, we're talking about self-development, business, money, fitness, wellness, and so much more. My name is Nadia. I am fitness coach, wellness speaker, natural bodybuilder, podcaster, entrepreneur, and most importantly, I'm a very happy woman. In this episode, and this episode is truly, truly, truly dear to my heart, I really wanted to talk about how to build a business as an immigrant in the United States. And I do have a very, very, very dear to my heart friend, Alexandra.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I love your introduction and the happy woman. So I'm going to add that to mine. If you don't mind, I want to borrow that. Thank you for having me. I'm excited about this topic specifically. I'm a real estate advisor with the Walters Flexen Estates, Beverly Hills Estates. I'm a real estate investor, and I also love building businesses, multiple businesses. And I truly can say that seeing your journey unfold as it has been all the way back from the desert, it's been exciting to watch. So.
Fantastic. Same thing here. I've been watching your journey, and life is amazing. You're meeting great people and you're really starting from nothing, right? And then as you evolve, those strong people with you evolve as well, and you just one day you meet you realize you've changed so much. And she tells me same thing, you've changed so much too. So I think let's start from really, first of all, I would like to think, what can we share with you today? Obviously, we both have multiple businesses and we're both speaking English as a second language.
Right.
What can we share today with our audience on tips and tricks, what mistakes to avoid to build a successful business as an immigrant? I think I would love to start with a simple question. What made you decide to start your own business instead of going to 9 to 5 road?
Oh, I've done it both. I didn't start out owning my business, although the moment I landed in America, I feel like I knew what I wanted to do. And I took my real estate license in 2006, and I always knew that I wanted to work for myself. By the way, I do encourage simple questions. I love the format throughout this, just giving you a heads up.
Okay.
To me, really is having a business it means job security, I feel like, to me, my interpretation of an American dream is that you own your business, that you are your own employer, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a pleasure of working with some incredible brands and companies.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for the Ritz-Carlton. I worked for the Waldorf Astoria.
Awesome.
I loved that experience, but I always felt like I could add my own flair to it,
Mm-hmm.
or I would manage it differently, or I would market it differently.
Mm-hmm.
I would have these ideas, and I'm like, oh, if they would just know this, that they could do so much better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they are amazing brands, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I always felt like my personality, my essence of
Mm-hmm.
it is missing. So I wanted to infuse that into something. So
Yes.
I wanted to start my own business, and the rest is history.
Awesome. And what was your first of all, where were you born? So you were born in Slovakia?
Yes.
What languages do you speak?
Oh gosh. So I was born in Czechoslovakia when it used to be
Okay.
Czechoslovakia. So Slovakia, I speak Slovakian. I speak Hungarian, and I speak English. So I call myself a Slovakian, Hungarian, American entrepreneur. So it's a long, yes.
Awesome.
How about you?
I speak Russian as my primary language, as I also speak Ukrainian as my pretty much also primary language, and English.
Do you know that everybody comes up to me and starts speaking Russian? But like,
Because
not even a question. They just go, oh, привет, давай, давай. It's like, yeah, sure. I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, even your last name, Ova, I certainly like Russian.
I wish I could speak Russian. Let me tell you, Russian girls stick together. Russian community. It's like, I want, adopt me, please. I learned the language.
Okay, so your first business idea, when was that, and what exactly was your first business?
Oh my gosh. Very first business idea. Oh, it was, oh my gosh. It was social media exchange. I don't even think you remember this. This was 2000, I want to say 16. So what happened was my real estate business went through, ups and downs. 2008, the big, I call it the Great Depression, but what it was is a mortgage, the bank lending industry meltdown. And basically the real estate has gone through really, really difficult time. So in addition to doing real estate, I thought, okay, how do I market? How do I scale better? And I started doing, do you remember Periscope? I do. We're not that old, but Periscope was a platform. I believe the very first platform that allowed you to do live video streams, right? So I quickly thought to myself, like, okay, this is going to be my thing, and I really want to capitalize on that. And so I was a big Periscoper. A lot of people thought I worked for the company. No affiliation, by the way. But I loved it because you know why? I knew that as we consume information, how we market things, it changed forever. How we talk to consumers, right?
Yes.
And so that was like the forefather of podcasting and videos and what is marketing and social media now. And so I started doing these Facebook Lives, and I would say, so two things. One, I said, hey, Coachella Valley, these are the hottest events and experiences. And I would do that every 11 o'clock, every single day at 11 o'clock. And I would update the Valley on the hottest events and experiences that were happening in our Valley. And it took off so quickly. We called it the My City Every Day. That was our very first company. And actually, it was my boyfriend's company at the time, and it was a magazine, and so we decided to digitalize it in a way. And quickly after that, I started to pick up tips and tricks and started marketing myself and creating a brand name for myself in the Coachella Valley through video and through social media. So my very first baby, as I call them, was the social media exchange. And you know what that was? It was a monthly mixer event where we would gather like a mastermind.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
We would have panels. I would usually be the lead panelist, and I would give tips and tricks to local business owners. How do you tackle this crazy thing called social media? Facebook Live, Instagram, and it was amazing. People loved it. And I found it that like, oh, finally I found the way to contribute to the business community through this. And yeah, that was my first one.
Awesome. Okay, so that was an inspiration to really use social media platform.
Yes.
To go out there and show other people how to do so. And pretty much you are very much also community oriented person. You love socialize, you love helping other people, you love giving some ideas. That's what I also noticed about you.
Yes.
Cool. All right. So from there, mistakes and well, we don't have failures. We certainly have only lessons so fast forward, today you have how many businesses?
Oh gosh, I mean, I don't know what constitutes a business, right? I have my real estate practice with the Walters Plexon Estate. I love real estate so much. Last year, I purchased my first investment property. So Tilex Global is also an investment property company. Then I'm working on 2 different businesses, which I'm not privy to share yet, but you know what it is.
Yes.
But hopefully we'll do a follow-up podcast and I can share more. But I would say 4 that I'm working on.
4.
Of course, I have gazillion ideas and things that are, some of these ideas have been ruminating over 5 to 10 years.
Yes,
Like the
and
currently
it's still-
one
and
that's
it's still
it's
there.
still
Yes.
unfolding, and that's.
But I love how you're not giving up, right?
Never.
I love how you're not giving up. So I know right before the podcast, we also had a couple of minutes. Well, how about a couple of hours setting up? No, just kidding. But just a couple of minutes to, talk about the subject and what we were going to talk in this podcast today. And you mentioned such an interesting fact. Can you please?
Which one?
Sure.
There's so many. It's mind-boggling. Which one?
Okay, so that the businesses so immigrants are more prone to start the business versus the...
Yes. Did you guys know that immigrants are twice as more likely to start a business in the United States of America than Native Americans? Why is that?
I was just gonna say, do you have an idea? Like, what are your thoughts?
I really, honestly, I don't know. I feel like, well, for me, I'll tell you why I started it, okay? Job security, expressing yourself, right? Like, I feel like I want to create my own thing. Why that is, I don't know, actually. I think you guys should answer this. Anybody has a good answer for that? I don't know. I think, listen, I will tell you this. If I would be back home, living very comfortably, I don't know if I would push myself either, right? I probably would have a side hustle that then probably creates a side business. And then maybe if that's successful, then I could switch it out and then I make it my main business. But I don't know. My determination to come to the States and having my own business was so strong because I thought I had no other choice.
Yes.
So that's what it is for me. You know, I feel like if I have to prove my worth to an employee, where I'm replaceable very quickly, where I don't have control over my own destiny, to me, that's not American life, right? What is American life to you?
Yes.
Can I ask?
American life is freedom. That's what
okay.
American
Freedom
life,
of what?
Yeah. Of choice.
Okay.
But coming back to that point, I really think that one of the reasons, of course, there could be, a lot of reasons for that, but I think the immigrants are people that are more bold and we more resourceful and we execute, meaning we do have more persistency. We do have more effort putting in because we understand there's pretty much nothing to lose. So we go 100% in.
Actually, that's a great, I think you onto something. I feel like me coming to the States, taking risks, I feel like I had this feeling of like, nobody knows me. Right?
Yes.
So maybe if I would have gone to school, high school, whatever, maybe I would have second guessed myself starting a business, especially if it's creative or unique or something. So maybe that has something to do with it. I came here and I said, nobody knows me. I fall on my face.
Yes.
Guess what? I get up. I can recreate myself. I can become Olga from Russia.
Yeah.
I could become a different personality. I can move to a different state. There's like 51 of them. So I think there's something. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So another question I would love to ask you is, what are some ideas how to identify the business? Well, let's say, okay, so I just came to the United States. I do speak a little bit of a language, by the way. Did you speak any English your first couple of years?
I did. I moved to England and I love.
I didn't know that. How long did you live in England?
So I was 18 when I left my country and I said, I'm going out there and I wanted to speak English. I didn't speak any really. I mean, in high school we learned, but I don't really count that. So moved to England as a cultural exchange au pair or nanny, if you will. Well, no, actually, there's a distinction between a nanny and an au pair. So I was there as an au pair, went to school, I cleaned houses for extra income. I would learn from the kids shows and from the children, right? And so I was there 2 years and went briefly back to Slovakia. Worked for Samsung Corporation, and shortly after that, I went to California. Yeah, so I did speak. Yes, I feel like the British taught me the language of the queens or the kings, whatever.
Awesome. So let's say someone just came to the United States. They really, they might speak a little bit of a language, but I remember myself first 12 months.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about starting my business because obviously
Really?
everyone.
This is shocking.
Yes. I had very, very low self-esteem. And I think one of the biggest inspirations why I'm so passionate about this podcast and particularly self-development and business entrepreneurship is one of the ways. It's the most important and the most effective way to find your purpose through the entrepreneurship, making those mistakes and trying yourself and executing and really believing in yourself and trying new ideas. But I really didn't have any faith. I didn't know how to start the business. I barely, spoke the language. I didn't know the whole world of entrepreneurship. And my family we never had business talk in my family. My father was a welder. My mom was a cleaning lady. She was cleaning public high schools, rooms and everything. And so just very, very hardworking people. My older brother, also welder, till today he is. So entrepreneurship is really something foreign, used to be very foreign to my being. And I'm sure there's a lot of immigrants just like that coming to this amazing country with no idea. How do you think what advice we can give to those that are just immigrated with the identifying good business ideas for them?
Such a good question. I really want to know the answer to that too.
How did you identify?
Honestly, out of necessity. It wasn't like, okay, let's have a team meeting and figure out how no, it wasn't like that.
So just I have to work, I have to make the income.
My necessity was that the real estate industry, just like kind of right now, is going through some major changes. And so I have to stand out. I have to survive. I have to market these listings. And how do I do that, right? So for me, I actually didn't know. I didn't go to school for marketing, but it came like my biggest flex, I think. Like, I love being a strategist. I love real estate. I love everything. But strategizing over like have to make something and make it from an idea to execution and see it come alive. That's a high that I get. And that's why my ideas ruminate for years and years and years. I don't give up. Like I had an idea in 2011. That idea is still etched in my brains, and I feel like seeing it come alive is why I do it. But how to do it? I do have a tip. Sorry. I would say, figure out what you're expert in, what you have passion for. Most likely, you don't really explore your passions because you feel like they are just hobbies, right?
Yes.
And if you have a hobby that you're so passionate about, I don't know about you, but you get obsessed about researching it. You want to do it. You want to learn about it. And I feel like that's what gives you that edge, right? And so don't pick just any business.
Yes, I certainly agree with you. In fact, any business must be started with the mindset it's a long term. It's a long game. So if you're not passionate about the things you are going to do, bad news, it's not gonna work. Because entrepreneurship really requires patience and being really, really, really consistent for years to build a successful business. Let's just call the things as they are. How many years do you put into building your real estate business that you started to see a consistent return?
Well, I had my license in 2006 and I feel like I'm reinventing myself every 7 years.
Yes.
Every 7 years.
But then from the hobby, doing real estate as something that, hey, can I just choose the full-time job, like consistent income and things like that?
Okay, so then thank you for the distinction. real estate was never a hobby for me. Okay. So it wasn't like, oh, I started liking houses and then, I think I was 7 years old drawing pictures.
Are you serious?
Yes. I didn't know that was called the realtor.
Babe, you are a serial real estate agent then. That's amazing.
You know why that was?
Why?
I don't know if my mom's going to hear this, but like growing up, we didn't have a nice house. I don't know about you, but like we lived in 3 generations under one roof, my grandma, my mom, me. And so I always wanted to like, oh, when I grow up, I'll make sure that every kid has his or her own room and a house. And
for me, it was a walk-in closet. It was a big deal. I really wanted to have a walk-in closet.
Yeah, so it comes from in the rooted passion of some sort. So for me, real estate was a no-brainer. I knew that I wanted to do. These other things that has to do with social media and creating these other businesses, that's more of a passion, right? Like the one that I'm building currently that you know of, but you guys don't yet. That's a passion of mine that's slowly growing year after year. And hopefully this year I will be able to unleash that. But so to answer your question, I think it takes 3 years.
Yes. Oh, wow. That was actually pretty fast, 3 years. I heard like very, very, very good business, meaning very, very good business that really does consistent return and it's established, it's stable, up to 10.
Yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, to make real solid profit and be able to grow. Yeah. 10 years, but 3 years, you can, I feel, get the concept proven and executed and kind of like work in it.
Yes.
So that's the earliest.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with that. Let's say we just came to the United States. We want to start the business.
Yes.
We really exploring, understanding this new culture, adapting to, new everything, new environment, language barrier. Where do we start? What would be...
We start right there. Well, I feel like you seek out a strong community. We made a joke about, the Russian community be so tight, but actually I really mean that. I think find a community that really can help you and be your backbone. Or if you don't find one, build one. Yes. And that's what I'm into, right? Yes. Building communities. My personal mission statement is always building, crafting, and connecting communities. And that's what I truly believe.
Yes.
Did you have a community when you came here? No?
No. I think because really, which leads me to the next very important point, that businesses are established and the life of the business, pretty much the strength of the business heavily lies on relationships. So relationships is really a foundation. So coming back to my previous point, if you just came to this amazing country, you're thinking to start exploring the opportunities to building the business, understand everything starts with you deciding what is it that you want to do, what is your passion, and second, really understanding that these businesses are established on relationships. So coming back to your earliest point, certainly meeting good people, creating circle of the people that have very similar mindset that you do. Because again, nothing wrong about 8 to 5. All of us were there. I also would like to share my story a little bit later, how I'm overcoming some struggles there. It's a mindset really very that was given to me. It's just like part of me in my DNA that I'm trying to, change that mindset mentality. And we can talk about it, right?
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head with the relationships, but the biggest, in my opinion, relationship you have to focus on is the relationship with yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Okay, so we had to change a little bit of our seats because of the sun. However, we are going to pick up right where we stopped. Relationships. So Alexandra shared that the most important relationship is...
with yourself, truly, because the amount of knowledge that you need to be resilient, Nadia. I don't know. You have to recreate yourself over and over again. And I think the biggest thing for me is that that I need to know who I am. And for a long time I didn't, I was following the trends and the community and it's the hardest one, and you work on that every day, right?
Yes. Here is the thing. Any success requires faith. You can't have faith if you don't love yourself. So how can you believe in yourself if you don't love yourself? So self-love is really a foundation of our lives, not only in business and everything. And that is the whole different subject for a separate podcast. I'm sure we're going to do that. And coming back to building a business as an immigrant in the United States, so far what I've learned is there are absolutely endless opportunities around us. True entrepreneurs are always seeing opportunities. There is no such thing as failures. There's only lessons. And where I struggled personally the most was being consistent. So what I was looking for that really believes in themselves is a foundation of eventually seeing a success in your business, specifically if you are an immigrant, because there might be, just like in my case, I didn't have family. I didn't have anybody to tell me, you're doing so great, keep going, we're believing in yourself.
That's a big one. That's a big one. When you're by yourself, it's your responsibility to be your own cheerleader. But I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
What made you realize I'm not doing something consistently? What was that epiphany, or how did that come about, and what were you not consistent of? Because you're pretty consistent in the gym, I know that much. So what were you not?
Which also wasn't the case all the time.
Really?
Of course, the first 12 months of me being in the fitness industry, absolutely not. I didn't. It was always a resistance.
That's shocking
to
me.
The gym. Yeah, resistance is always a sign that you are on your way to growth. Resistance is always a sign. So I really, when I didn't see me being consistent, it's those little things where, you need to be consistent with social media, and then you didn't. You have to be consistent with following up with clients, and you didn't.
That's a big one.
That you need to do something, but you somehow didn't. That's where I was, seeing myself as a failure because I didn't do the amount of things I wanted to do.
So what is the tip? How did you become consistent? Do you have a trick or something that you could share? Yes.
Day by day. Take one step at a time.
Okay.
Yes, but consistency. There is a perfect book, Atomic Habits, where he says if we change just 1% a day, 1% a day, in a year, in 12 months, you are making such a big shift.
Yes.
Versus when we're doing 5 million things in one day and then we burnt out and then we stop completely. But next 2 weeks, have you done this?
Oh my gosh, constantly. I thought I had to quantum jump into a new person, right? I think for me, exactly that. Picking 3 habits that I want to establish. It takes 90 days to actually establish and create a new habit. So if you want to say I'm going to do 10 things, you're not going to keep up with it. The consistency won't be there. But if you just say, okay, I'm going to do these 3 things consistently for the next how many days, you're going to see results, And so what are the 3 things that you're consciously consistent of? What new habits are you creating right now?
It always has to be mindfulness in the morning. So whatever work requires you to bring your mind to the right spirit. So being in connection with spirit. I used to, like, my morning used to be very, very different. I used to wake up, coffee, gym. And that created a lot of anxiety throughout my day, obviously, because as soon as I would wake up, I would just do the body. Now it's my mind and my spirit.
So you work on your mind 1st. Very
Absolutely,
good.
yes. And then I go do my body, and then I do everything else.
In the business, yeah.
How about you?
Well, so one of the things is like I really want to have a good morning routine, like a consistent good morning routine.
So important.
And I don't say like I do it every day, but I do it 85% of the time.
Yes.
And I'm proud of that, So my consistency is having a me time with my thoughts and my first morning coffee. That's like sane. Do not call me, look at me.
I call it non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables. Yes. And then I have my time with Mia, my puppy. So we go for a walk, beautiful nature. Like I need that. And my soul needs it. Not even me, my soul needs it. And then couple of habits I want to, well, not habits, more like skills, right? And the biggest one is like, I want to be a better podcaster. I want to be a better public speaker. I used to do it and I kind of stopped doing that, and consistency building my real estate clientele here in LA, the client follow up and all of that, the lead generation. That I want to make it more consistent. But one of the things I became more consistent in, and it took me years, is that now every day I do something for my body. And I did not. Like, I was not like you. Like, I'm not the gym girl. You know what I mean? I love tennis, I love walking. But now I do Pilates. So it's either like I do Pilates or I swim. I always go for a walk every single day, or I stretch, or I do something every day. And now I'm consistent of that.
Yay!
Like, finally, but it took me years.
But then see how you consistently kept. Here's again, coming back to that resistance thing. Resistance is real. And a lot of people do stop because they feel that resistance. You should not stop because of this. In fact, this is what I've learned, and it has been tremendous help. As soon as I feel resistance, that certainly tells me you're on the right direction.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Green light. You're going the right. If I don't feel the resistance, if this is something that most likely it's nothing.
Because you're not learning or growing.
Exactly. So two things. Resistance shows that you're doing something new that most likely is going to bring you to the next level. And second, the resistance means that your mind is trying to protect you. And on the other hand, on the other side, is going to be first, realization that there was nothing to fear, really. Like, for example, public speaking. It's a fear, right? So I'm experiencing fear. I feel like someone is going to laugh at me. That's the resistance. But each time you're done with the public speaking, you're like thinking, I am actually so happy I did that. And that is like a very good example of having resistance, coming out there, putting yourself out there, doing something uncomfortable, and then through those experiences, you really coming up to the next level of your version. I'm not talking about next level of money and next level of business, of your own version. So whatever that strongest version of you is, that's how you get there, overcoming that resistance. In your case, it's the fitness. So
yes, it was.
Look at you. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Just overcoming that resistance each time, being consistent or whatever that was for you. And now you're seeing your results. That's very, very good.
Thank you.
Okay, so a couple of advices for the people that just came to the United States. They're new to the country. They want to start business.
So like, besides the technical things, right? Like to make sure that you have a specialty, that you're good at what your business is, and that you know everything about that business. Research and validate your idea first. I feel like this is so important. People get excited about creating a website, a logo, and then, let's go, But make sure you know what problems are you solving, right? And it doesn't mean like you cannot open a new cupcake shop because it's been done before. Yeah. Actually, we were having at the WBN, the Women Business Network gala that happens once a year. Candice Nelson was our guest speaker, and she started Sprinkles Cupcakes. You know that, right? I love that cupcake shop. And she was saying the story like, she has this idea, goes to her family and says, I'm going to open up a cupcake shop. And they look at her like, wow, how original, And she was like, no, but mine's going to be better. So in her case, she didn't need to test the market. People love cupcakes, so there's nothing to test there. But she wanted to infuse her own way of doing it. And Sprinkles, right? One of the most popular, amazing brands. So validate your idea. People don't believe it around you. It's okay. But make sure that that idea already has been done before. Or if you're really super creative or establishing a new one, do a group study or not a group study, a study, validate that idea, research it, study. What is that called, guys? What is that called? A study group? Dylan, help us out. What is that called when you validate your idea and then you have a group and then they give you feedback? Case study. Thank you. Thank you. Do a case study of that with a small group, like I did. You were there for me. I'm testing out a brand new idea. Don't know if it's going to work. She came to the case study, gave me feedback, and now I'm with confidence moving forward that I think it's going to work.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And
yes,
2 advices you would give to yourself, your youngest self, when you just came to United States.
I love that one. And that one is more on the spiritual side. And as Eastern European, I don't know if everybody has the same thing, but as Eastern European woman, growing up, my mom didn't have the tools to give me spiritual guidance or trust yourself or, self-worth and self-development, basically. So I would tell myself, discover your self-worth. And I feel like that's the most important, trusting yourself, right? When I did public speaking before, people would be like, oh my gosh, your accent is weird. The words come out weird. And I stopped doing it, right?
Oh my God, you're such a beautiful accent. Isn't she has such a beautiful...
Thank you. Thank you so much. And then you question yourself and then you think, okay, yes, my accent is not as beautiful as the American or the British. The British can say anything. They can tell you to go to hell and you're like, yes, sir, because it sounds so good. I don't have that, okay? But through a lot of self-discovery, working that muscle every single day and discovering your worth ceiling, which determines how much money you're actually going to make. Jamie Lee Kerma, have you read the book Worthy? Okay, so that book changed my life. It really helped me discover my self-worth. And so now if I say something wrong, I still will make mistakes. Words still will come out wrong. But guess what? Now I just, not that I don't care, but I just have confidence that's me, and I love it. So that's what I would say to my young self, don't care.
Make mistakes. Go for it.
Yes. Or the other's opinions,
Yes.
Because it's everybody has one.
Absolutely. And the truth is, we don't want to be perfect, but you need to go for it, start.
Yes.
There is my dear mentor, Jen Gottlieb. She teaches, start before you're ready. If you have an idea and your heart responds and you want this thing to become to life, start before you're ready. Do not wait for a perfect moment, seriously, because guess what? It never comes.
Or every moment is perfect.
Yes. Either way, it's either nothing or everything. That's really pretty much our mindset. All right. I am so happy that we had this amazing podcast. I really hope we were able to share our own journey, our own stories on how we were able to build the businesses, find ourselves in this amazing country as immigrants. Now I'm sure it's your home as well, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
And
for me too.
it's
It's seriously.
I truly feel like I'm living my American dream. How about you?
Always the same thing, and each day it gets better and better and better. So where can we find you on social media?
So I go by the listing agent. I have multiple accounts, but primarily I go by the listing agent. So that's my real estate platform. I also have one for Alexandra Mikloshova for my personal brand, which is loading, still being built as we speak. And I do have a marketing strategy company, Mikloshova Strategies, and I go by the brand architect for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing so much with me today. I have been enjoying to listen to your story, and I am sure all our listeners also enjoyed listening.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. I am looking forward to see you in my next episode and build the business.
Go for it.
Go for it 100%. Bye.
Bye.